Siraj,
Welcome all the participants. We will start the event shortly in another 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you for being present.
Ivansu, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible, Sivraj.
All
We'll
right,
start
thank
the
you.
session shortly in another 1 or 2 minutes. Uh, Thank you, everyone. So, without taking much of your time, we will start the session. Somehow, Ms. Riya Dalwar is not able to join due to some technical glitch. So, we will start the session, and later on, she will take it over. So, with this, I would like to invite Mr. Bhavesh Shah, uh, who is the chairman of IGBC Vadodara chapter and one of the founder of and joint managing director of Helmet Chemicals Private Limited. He's a commerce graduate and having his expertise in sales and marketing. He's having a rich experience of more than 32 years as an overall in charge of organization and especially in the marketing activities. Under the dynamic leadership of Mr. Bhavesh Shah, Helmet has spread its business in each and every corner of the country. So, Mr. Bhavesh Shah, we welcome you for the welcome remarks and request you to kindly address the gathering for this webinar. Thank you. Mr. Bhavesh Shah, over to you. Hello. Mr. Bhavesh Shah. Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Bhavesh Shah.
Himanshu ji, I'm here, Shreya.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I just introduced Mr. Bhavesh. I think he's having some issue.
hi Manshubhai. Sorry, સંભળાતું જ નથી મને કશું.
Yeah. The request to unmute. He is not able to listen to us.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I think there is some issue. I am not able to hear anything. I just got a call from Himanshu bhai that you have been, called for the addressing the participant. Well, I'm Bhavesh Shah, Chairman IGBC Vadodara chapter. Today on the event of virtual sessions for adopting green practice in industrial building, I would like to welcome Mr. Rajesh Jha, Country and Environment Manager, ABB, Mr. Vimal Sharma, Country HSE and Sustainability Manager, ABB India, Ms. Sweta, Executive Production, Good and Green, Godrej Industries Limited, Mr. Sivraj Raka, Councillor, CIA IGBC, my colleague Neetu Jain, co-chair Vadodara chapter, and also Himanshu bhai, Mr. Himanshu Sa, who's supporting us for doing such activities for the green and back office support. And ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good afternoon to everybody. On behalf of IGBC, once again, I welcome you here, IGBC Vadodara chapter, for adopting a green practice in industrial buildings. Today, with the advancement of the green building movement in India, many companies have shown a keen interest in having a holistic green design and construction framework for upcoming factory buildings. As everybody knows that the national GDP expected to grow over 8% and the contributions of manufacturing sectors to the national GDP being quite significant, that to 25% or more, and more factory would be set up in the country. Now with again taking up making in India, it really been really adding a lot in this. While the growth in eminent, it is imperative that the development should happen in an environmentally sustainable manner. In this context, IGBC has developed a launching, IGBC has developed and launched the green rating program for factory buildings, which has created far-reaching impact on saving natural resources, betterment of working condition, and enhance productivity, thereby leading of sustained national benefit. Hope I am properly audible, Neetu, because I can't hear anything from anybody. So if my voice is clear, okay, thank you. Green concept and technique in the industries can help address national issues like energy efficiency, conservation of nature resources, handling of consumer waste, water efficiency, and reduction in fossil fuel use in community. Most importantly, this concept can enhance an occupant health, happiness, and a well-being. The concept of a rating would encourage designer to address this by designing. Today's program would address how a project can adopt various green practices in factory building, its operations, and also in manufacturing process. It would be applicable to all sectors of industries and for all climate zone of India. I would like to thank you all for participating for this enthusiasm and proactive participations and I'm sure you will have a very useful and productive sessions. Thank you very much, everybody, and all the best to all my speakers here. Over to Himanshu Bhai. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavesh bhai. Now I would like to invite Ms. Shreya Dalwadi over to you for moderating the session.
Thank you, Himanshu bhai. A very good afternoon to all the attendees and the eminent speakers. It's my pleasure to be a part of the IGBC Baroda team, and it gives me immense pleasure to be moderating the session on adoption of green practices in industrial buildings, as it is very well known that industry is the growth engine of country's economy. And if the growth engine is green, I think the day is not far when the entire country would go green. So today I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Shivraj Dhaka, who will be speaking on behalf of CII and IGBC. Welcome, Shivraj-ji. May I please introduce you? Shivraj has over 14 years of rich experience in industry and academia. He has been equally involved in research, especially on building energy and environment, and has published over 20 research articles in the top ranking journals. He was also awarded the DAAD DAAD Fellowship Germany in 2012 at Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, Germany. At IGBC, Shivraj leads the Green Building Certification Services, especially for data centers, green factories, net zero, energy and water existing buildings. Along with this, Shivraj is in charge of national and international cooperation projects such as energy efficiency in data centers of LBNL and net zero at Shakti. Under leadership of Shivraj, Performance Challenge for Green Built Environment, a new service launched in 2019 to have a track record of green buildings performance. Shivraj has facilitated more than 340 plus green/net zero building projects all across the country, authored in many technical guidelines, user guide for implementing ECBC 2017, and 2 case studies, exemplary performance and innovation in data centers. We are privileged to have you, Shivraj, with us today, and I wish you all the best for your presentation.
Thank you, Shreya. We are really privileged to have Mr. Bhavesh Shah, Chairman, Vadodara Chapter of IGBC, Mitu Ma'am, Co-Chair of Vadodara Chapters, and I'm very happy today we have ABB as well as Godrej. Those have demonstrated how green factory, how green measures implemented in factory buildings, what kind of results we can see there. Sometimes there would be huge tangible benefit, monetary benefit to the companies, but there would be time, there would be limit when we would stop at our tangible benefits, and we also think about intangible benefits. That's how we have seen in the market. They are very important than tangibles. Today, many companies, many big corporates, they have announced how they would achieve sustainability net zero framework. I don't think there is a tangible benefit with that. Everywhere we think about intangible benefits, how it would serve our purposes for the community as a whole. So I'm really thankful to all of you for this presentation and offering this opportunity to me, and really thankful to Himanshu who has given a boost in Gujarat for several verticals to have the benefit of green, and especially the great support which we have received from Mr. Bhavesh and Mrs. Nituja. So in my presentation, I thought to have some key focus, which are the problems in industry. One of the biggest problem is what are the benchmarking for industry to follow. There would be different type of industry for different verticals, different sectors. So what are the design practices we follow so that we can showcase, okay, whatever I implemented in the factory also, that showcase a best practice. Second problem is for new facilities, there would be lot of design interventions which design architects or companies can follow these practices so that by default their design is exemplary in the nature. Third part is operation maintenance. Many times we can build a robust framework, we can put something very good, unique, but operation and maintenance will test our records, whether we are able to sustain with the design goal or not. Next part is how to have continuous improvements in facilities, especially those are rated for green also. So IGBC has running one program called Performance Challenge, and that is showcasing how it will happen for factories to have continuous performance improvements. And the last part is how to have something unique, innovation or exemplary in the factory so that it showcases, okay, you are different than your colleagues or your competitors or maybe the followers. So let me begin this presentation. It will have some slides, but mostly we thought to share some evidence so that stakeholders they can understand, okay, these are simple and can showcase good result to factories. So I would start with IGBC journey. IGBC started with one building with 20,000 square feet. Today we have more than 7,200 projects all across the country, and that has total 8 billion square feet of registered footprint all across the country. While having the Green Factory certification that developed in 2009, it defines the key requirements for industrial buildings, industrial projects, how they should have local design practices to showcase better, and also while following some codes, standards, building norms or factory norms so that they principally showcase something better than the usual buildings or usual factory design practices. So for Green Factory building, we have more than 480 projects all across the country of different size, different type. Some are very small, although they are very unique, and some are very large size companies, large size projects. Those have showcased, demonstrated some kind of examples which we rarely don't see in the market. We have more than 200 projects which are up running, and green certified projects have showcased good benefits with regard to tangible as well as intangibles. This rating is addressed and suitable for different sectors of factories, start from engineering, automobile, textile, food, beverage, chemicals, and some are the other verticals of. We have showcased how many companies, some of the key or industry leaders who have followed this green factory rating system. So primarily, if we explore green ratings or green principles, they are coming from 5 key areas. One would be related to site, how we can create sustainable sites, or whatever the site we have, how we can accommodate the features of that local environment into our project so that it will offer more and more benefit to us. Water conservation, energy and energy efficiency, how we have building materials and resources, that is very very important in today's era. And last part is indoor environment quality. So these 5 areas, I have put couple of examples for each of the vertical, each of the sector, so that it will showcase the good examples in the industry. This is we have Shweta from Godrej. This is a Godrej factory in Pune. What we want to showcase, many a time when we have the site, it would be not vegetated like this. But what is the purpose behind that? That we thought to discuss with you here. So the total site area, which is after the construction also, it is well developed and developed while considering some of the key benefits like water percolation. So you see here the pavers which are put it here. They are grass pavers. They allow water to percolate. The vegetation which is having in the site, it will have very good irrigation system so that it will reduce our water problems with regard to whether we are using treated water. Even then it will reduce the quantity of water, or if treated water is not enough to have the complete irrigation, it would reduce or cut down the water demand for that matter. This is one example which would be there a problem in many factories we have seen, because many a time bylaw says you keep 20%, 30% open areas with regard to your total site area versus the built up area also. This would be a challenge for many factories, and we have put some more examples how to have the irrigation practices so that you simply optimize your water requirements for that matter. This is related to a very big area. Today we see it here, and it can be put into design practices. Sometimes we have seen project procure some different color coloring sheet, which create problem to them. Once they go for green building or green factory, they have to have the high reflective paint. We have Mrs. Neetu Jain, who has been a great leader in this area. So how to have roofing material by default white, so that we don't need to struggle while going for certification also. This area will reduce or will help us to mitigate urban heat island. Also, it is very important area in this area also. So we have defined some criteria, although it is yet to come for new version of the green factory also. But we thought it is very good practice to showcase how to get better benefit with that. So if we put SRI coating, it is good, and if it is by default embedded with the seat, it will have better benefit for us. We can also do glaze tiles. Glaze tile will also reflect a lot of heat falling on that surface, and definitely the one example is vegetation. So these are helping all the projects to mitigate urban heat island, and also to reduce the temperature in the vicinity of the project. There are many benefits of that. We can count them with regard to air conditioning, energy efficiency, or energy conservation in the project. This example showcase if we use parking areas nowadays, because of the solar photovoltaic practices, it can provide a shade, at the same time generate energy. And if we talk about EV charging, it may also facilitate that. So this kind of examples we can see in some of the good factories. But some projects will put by design, some will try to retrofit, and some projects will think once the certification is not there, or they want to adopt the certification for the benefit of this kind of measures. This is another example where we talk about urban heat island by non-roof surfaces. Could be a surface where we put pavers or road or pathways. These areas are also important, but in green factory, if we are giving more and more importance to tree cover, it will have the real benefit for the project. But if we don't get that opportunity, we can put that grass pavers, and the last opportunity would be to have the low SRI material, so that by default it reduces the temperature in the vicinity of the project. There are some examples related to water conservation, and this example is important as it reduces our expenditure. Some project will use process water, or there would be water requirement in the process, and it will reduce the operational expenditure for that matter. So we can go ahead with some pond kind of structure to reduce the cost of implementation. Some projects have gone for water storage by putting some filtration mechanism, and some projects they may choose some combined efforts, either the percolation pit as well as the rainwater harvesting system. So this kind of practices have been adopted in several projects, but we would like to showcase something different. What happens if project size is very large? Like this is one such example in Noida, where site is more than like 3 to 4 kilometers in, and that site will have huge requirement of rainwater harvesting. If we put that investment, I think it is very difficult. So this kind of canal kind of project can be put, artificial lake can be created, percolation ponds can be created. It would reduce the cost of construction, as well as this water can be utilized for some process application. We would like to showcase one such example here. This is a example put by Tata Chemicals in Andhra. They have put a huge artificial pond or lake, and this water is used for process applications. So more than 90 to 90% of the time, they are only using this water for their process application. And this is also covered with the floating solar photovoltaic system, so that evaporation would be minimized, or it would be optimized to reduce the losses of water. So this kind of practices are now emerging in these factory buildings, especially to generate solar energy, and also use the harvested water for process applications. This is also an exemplary example wherein there is a pond created. This pond has been used as a cooling tower. So the water coming from the condenser, it is poured here, and then there would be sprinkler also. By this way, it is cooled and then goes back to the condenser for process cooling applications. There are a couple of ponds created in between the site. You can see there are ponds like this one. Again, there are ponds. So this way, project can utilize the site. They can reduce the capacity of infrastructure, which otherwise will be a costly affair for rainwater harvesting. This example showcases what kind of transformation we have seen in the irrigation. Irrigation is a key requirement as there would be 20 to 30% of the site area for vegetations also. So earlier we have this kind of sprinkler system I used to see in several projects. Then there was a era to use drip irrigation. After that, moisture sensor, and this is one such example which you will see a new example watering through pores of porous pipes. So there are water header lines coming from this conical shaped tank, and these porous pipes they are made of recycled material like tires, and these are porous pipes would evaporate the water as and when soil is dry. So it is about 4 to 6 inches 6 inches depth based on the soil condition or soil properties, but it would only evaporate the water as and when soil is dry. Otherwise, it would not. And this would reduce the use of irrigation water. For some of the large size project, it would be very, very minimum. This factory located in Ahmedabad, and this is how it looks after the implementation. This is one such good example. No need to have any further investment or to reduce the operational maintenance cost, because mostly STFs they would use significant amount of energy. And today we understand the relation between water energy nexus. There would be huge amount of energy invested for every liter of water which is being transported from one place to another place for any of the application. So project can go ahead with phytoremediation kind of concepts to treat the water without any energy use in that. Here we talk about some of the good examples related to energy efficiency, how to conserve energy. This is one project located in Padi where they have used passive cooling technologies. If you are able to see it here, some lowers. So there is a wind pipe, and this wind pipe is from the top to bottom at the floor level of the machine area or the floor area. So these are having the ducts here or the louvers. So this chamber or the cutout capture the air, and this air pass on here. Why? Because there would be process energy application here, and the environment would be slightly warm, so air would lift. So when air pass from this environment, by default air would be sucked from the top. So this works on the buoyancy effect, and there would be good requirement of such applications in every process factory or so. So this ventilate very well without any energy use. Another example is as and when there would be some air conditioning requirement, project can go ahead with adiabatic cooling. It is a very cheap solution compared to water cooled chiller or so. But air cooled chiller can work very well. Very well. It can have saving in kilowatt per year for from 0.98 to 0.82. That's how we have recorded this kind of performance in some of the good commercial buildings for adiabatic applications. This is one such very good example from Hero MotoCorp. They have used complete vegetated roof along with the solar photovoltaic system, and solar is also having motorized control to clean it regularly. And then they are calling this system a Bigfoot. It is having very precise control from the pressure. So as and when pressure goes down, only then air would be supplied from this system. So it has control over temperature as well as the volume of air which is supplied. So as and when volume or pressure difference is not there, the system would off, or it would operate at lower speed just because of the good VFD controls, and also taking outdoor air continuously to pump the fresh air for the process applications as well as the non-process. Materials have been become very sensitive area, because a lot of design practices, the performance metrics used for the materials, they have been seen a global transformation with regard to the life cycle assessment or the embedded energy into the material. So So today's product which are being manufactured should follow the complete life cycle of this kind to showcase, okay, this metal is green. So IGBC has key measures with regard to the complete life cycle management of the product. So there is a vertical called Greenco. They certify this kind of products, and if they are utilized in green buildings, they will further improve the performance of the green building or the green factory. This is one more example where we have showcased. There are sprinklers fitted here. These sprinklers, especially during summertime, they will cool the air, and then this cool air is passing through this vegetated area, and then finally the air enters to this process area where there are many occupancy as well as the machining process is happening. So this air comes pre-cool the air, further pre-cooling because of the dense vegetation, and then exhausted from the surface or the fan which is fitted here. So this way it is a one pass process, cooling it and also having the excellent ventilation for the industries. Daylight is important for every factory, for every building, whether it's a commercial or industrial. So there are good practices. We thought to share some of the exemplary performance, design performance. This is factory again from Secure Meter. They have provided this kind of cutouts, and these cutouts are having DGU glass as well. And then the direction of these facades is towards north, so there is only light, no heat coming from these cutouts. So you can see these cutouts here. This is a industry where they are involved in very sophisticated process of manufacturing of meters, like diode, triode kind of things are there in the manufacturing process. So it would allow very sufficient daylight for such a sophisticated process and no need to have any artificial light during the daytime. This is another one example from Godrej. So they have provided lights which are there in the north facade to harness the daylight, not to have any heat. At the same time, they have provided this kind of spaces where photovoltaic would be allowed without any interference in the daylight. You can see it here. This is called vision glazing. Many of the buildings which are green, they also follow this practice to have the vision glazing for better daylight performance. You can see how it has deep penetration of daylight, and there would be no artificial light used during daytime. What happens if they don't have this kind of things? There would be a lot of requirement of lighting, but productivity also goes down with artificial light. But such system would enhance the productivity, will not have any requirement of artificial light. This is another, I thought to have a very precise photograph to showcase you. So you can see this facade gives the light which is in the north, also have the DGU which allows no heat gain, and then this inclined surface holds the solar photovoltaic system, so that by default there is no cost for infrastructure or kind of paneling which are used to withhold or to install the solar photovoltaic system. So there are more and more benefit with that. This is another good example to have the glass for connected to the outdoor nature. Then the lures at different heights so that it would ventilate the air. This is how secure meter looks like. Entire floor is completely daylit, very bright in nature, and does not consume any energy for it. This is another example where artificial lights are looking like here, but they are daylight pipes. Some daylight pipes are short in length. They are put it here integrated, embedded with the panels of roofing panels. But these light pipes are slightly length in size, could be in 4 meter, 5 meter also. So this is a good example from Coca-Cola Ahmedabad. So you can see the light fitted from the light pipes. They looks like artificial, but they are the daylight pipes. This is another area where we should reduce the pollution, and this is important because if we reduce the source pollution, whatever the paint, coating, adhesives, sealant, carpets, wood, or new furniture we use, it will have lot of VOCs chemicals, and if we reduce their impact, by default we reduce the source pollution, and it will reduce our requirement for fresher ventilation as. today's factories are not completely the process-oriented machines or the facilities, but they would provide lot many amenities to all the staff, all the employees, so that it looks like you are in a better environment. You can see some of the examples from Asian Paint, Godrej, from Mohali, from one factory. They have provided traditional kind of things to help the breakout for occupant. Some companies, even like ABB, they have provided this kind of breakout spaces. So if factories are looking after employees, definitely employees would look after their production also. So there are huge opportunities with regard to greening of new as well as the existing, and how to introduce sustainability. It can become a learning story from several best practices adopted all across the country. So thank you for this opportunity, and for patient listening. I would be available for Q&A session at the end.
Thank you, Shivrajji, for the very nice presentation. We really liked the kind of examples that you showed. I think the examples were a great eye-opener for the audience, especially the wind draft example in the Baddiwala industry, where the natural air outside is taken to the shop floor. Thank you, Shivrajji. Now I invite Rajesh ji and Vimal ji. Both are from ABB. I'm pleased to introduce Rajesh ji first. Rajesh Kumar Jha, he is a sustainability professional having vast experience in government R&D through NEERI, in metal industries like Jindal, in automobile like Toyota and Kirloskar Motors, and electrical sectors, that is ABB India. Currently, he is working in ABB as the Country Environment and Sustainability Manager. By qualification, he holds an MTech degree in Energy and Environment Engineering as well as MBA and Advanced Diploma in Industrial Safety. He has expertise in promoting health, safety, and environment issues and sustainability across manufacturing units as well as value chain. His contribution in environment has been published in several national and international journals. Welcome, Rajiv ji. He is accompanied by Vimal ji. Let me please introduce him. Vimal Swarup Sharma is HSC and sustainability professional having vast experience in construction, heavy engineering, roads, port and harbors, that is L&T, electrical sectors and real estate, that is ABB. Currently, he is also working with ABB as country HSC and sustainability manager. By qualification, he holds a master's degree in environment and NIBOSH International Diploma in Safety. He has expertise in promoting HSE and sustainability across manufacturing units and also as value chain. Also, his works are published widely in journal. I welcome both the gentlemen and request you to please start your presentation. Thank you.
Rajesh, you can present.
Yeah. Then there is some issue in sharing the presentation. 1 second. Just 1 minute. I think there's some issue in sharing the presentation.
Or shall I share it?
Yeah, please, sir, please.
Please let me know when you are able to see my screen.
Yes, now
Yes, we can see. Yeah, please.
Super.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all. And thank you so much for inviting to this forum. And I thank all the dignitaries of IGBC. And I also thank all the participants who are there in this particular forum. So thank you so much for introducing me. And actually, when you see the slide here, it is very clear what is the overall purpose of ABB in terms of really adhering to the sustainability values and how ABB is really promoting sustainability across not only in ABB but also across the whole value chain. So see, just we'll talk about ABB. We are operating in 5 locations, and we have 5 manufacturing locations. We're in 26 factories and 18 divisions with vast sales offices across 21 locations, and we have around 7,000 plus employees with a huge R&D center located in Bangalore, and also we deal with a lot of service, business service across the globe. And over 100 years of presence in and 70 years of manufacturing experience across the globe. Yeah. So it is not that key sustainability we are talking now, but when it comes to sustainability, ABB has already adopted these practices and the sustainability procedures, in fact, way ahead, but it was not that key. It was not, I can say, marketed. So now, as we see that there is a huge, push from the UN sustainability goals, and also from our local reporting in the form of BRSR or BRR earlier. So now earlier we were only doing financial reporting for say. Now what has happened is that now there is a great emphasis and push not only from locally, but also from all quarters to really do their non-financial reporting. So is that we are really looking into the targets which are being proposed by all the big corporates across the globe. So we also have our own 2030 targets draft, which really hover around this low carbon society, preserving resources, and also social progress. And when we say this low carbon society, it is totally revolving around your CO2 operations, and also not only for ABB, but also reducing emissions across the value chain from customers and also from the other stakeholders. So preserving resources, yes. 80% of the products what we are manufacturing or doing are covered under the circularity approach. So that is totally taken care by our group and also by the local units across the world. So zero waste to landfill is also one of the things that we really look into when we say about resources. So when we talk ESG, so obviously your zero harm and your D&I, your D&I is nothing but your diversity and inclusion also comes into this, as we really promote this also at a higher level. So this is an overall sustainability 2030 targets which we have adopted. So based on the sustainability 2030 targets, what we have done is we have come out locally by adopting those 2030 targets and SDGs, and also the frameworks and the requirements mandated by BRSR and other national ESG requirements. We have come out with a very 10-point focal approach on ESG for ABB India. So it also talks about your green manufacturing, your site efficiency, your renewable energy, your water, your waste. So it is talking around all the sectors which your SDGs are promoting, and also whatever our group in terms of sustainability 2030 targets it is telling. So it is not that we are only talking around environment, but it is also that we are talking about the product stewardship and life cycle analysis, which anyhow in your midterm and long-term goals, we are going to really stick to that. And also we are talking around biodiversity, which is also looks to be a very small issue, but when you see it globally, it is a very big issue, wherein it is very difficult for some of the companies to really adopt to this. So we are talking, or we are doing a bit around this biodiversity also. So a safe, healthy and working environment is as such an important aspect, because we do business to earn profits, and if there is any unsafe thing happening, then it is a huge loss. So it is also adhered to. And as I said, yes, diversity and inclusion is also one of the main important thing that we really follow. So when we started talking about these points in the management level, because these things were only possible because of the support of the management, which was very visible, and we were able to really push our idea in terms of really making the management agree to the ESG focal areas which we were proposing. And from there, the idea of going into this IGBC certifications and getting our factories greener came out. So based on that, what we did is we devised a sustainable business model, and wherein as a strategic approach, we started working out in 3 phases, and wherein first phase we talked about majorly about these green factory buildings, and second phase we have already started about talking about this green manufacturing, wherein we talk about total net zero operations, and phase 3 is a green product. So when we talk about phase 1, so it was also a very strategic, very stepwise approach, a PDCA approach, wherein we thought we'll identify the gaps, then we'll do some improvement activities, wherein when we engaged Godrej as a consultant, we got a lot of value addition in terms of, we had a lot of things, but we never were able to really understand that how to really put into force and how to put it into proper what you say in a place where it really gets seen by everybody. So we had a lot of improvement activities as a part of the IGBC requirements. Then we submitted the application by IGBC, and thereafter we had a virtual audit and certified by IGBC. But when it comes to seeing all the 6 parameters which were involved in this green factory building, it was a really an eye opener for us to really understand that yes, all the things were in place, but we were never following it up to see that yes, these things are visible to everybody, these things are being propagated to each and every stakeholder who is involved in the factory. So this was a very good a step wherein we were able to really propagate our green thinking across the value chain and also across all the stakeholders who were involved in the locations or in the offices and the factories. Now in phase 1, when I say green factory buildings, it is not only confined to buildings, but now we are also really expanding our thought process to go across to offices also. So that also is in the cards. So coming to phase 2, when we spoke about net zero manufacturing, so so ABB has already signed an agreement globally that we will do RE100, EV100, and EP100. So to realize that also, we had short-term, mid-term, and long-term plans, wherein we are already having a very good discussions around this RE100, and by 2022 we are pretty sure that we'll be able to realize it 100% across all the 5 locations available in India. And EV100, we are having a very good policy around it. And what ABB as a company we are thinking is that all the fleets which are owned and operated by ABB, we will make it 100% EV by 2030. So that is also is the ambition going around with a lot of good policies in place. Then EP100, that also is one of the important thing that anyhow, all this RE, EV, and EPR anyhow are revolving around this green factory building only, that we were not able to realize that. But now, since we have achieved this green factory building and moving to phase 2, so we are able to really understand how to go with net zero carbon, then zero waste to landfill, and also water net zero. So a lot of deliberations are happening around as a part of strategic inclusions into our discussions on a daily basis, and we are able to really discuss with IGBC, with CII, and all to how to go ahead with that. So I can say that after having a lot of deliberations and discussions, a lot of good things, a lot of value additions are happening, and we are able to really move ahead as a part of phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 still we have not thought of. But going forward by 2023, after we really see that the implementation of net zero and net CO2, we are able to really have it in initial stage, then we'll be going for phase 3. So that also is there. Then just to showcase that how we have moved in the past 1 year, because 2020 targets were released in 2020, 2030 targets were released in 2020. So after that, we had a strategic and stepwise approach, and now by 2022, when we say we have already got certified 3 factories, so that is one of the achievement, and it would have not been possible without the support of the IGBC and also our partner Godrej. So that is one thing. Then one good part that we were able to achieve as a part of this green building IGBC discussions was that we were able to really understand on how to go ahead with this water positivity. So we were able to really, by implementation of good rainwater harvesting system, wherein Rajesh will anyhow explain you on that in the further slides. So we had one of our factories certified as water positive in 2021. And now for realization of RE100, as I told, yes, 2022 December is our target to see that 100% renewable energy is being utilized in all our manufacturing locations. So that towards that also we are moving very strategically. Then zero waste to landfill discussions are happening around it, and we are able to really see that we will be able to really achieve that zero waste to landfill. But right now, if you see that we have more than 95% of recyclability across locations wherein we operate. So that is also one thing. And overall, when we see that, we are also trying to see that all our portfolio, all our products, whichever we operate around, and they are all covered under this circularity approach. So this is an overall strategic way which we have adopted. But only one thing I would like to say here is that we are very happy to be associated with IGBC, and would also be wishing to have more such deliberations and discussions in future to have more such accolades. And one thing, Shivraji, so I was discussing with you also that our motto is not to have certifications as a whole. Why we are doing these certifications is that it is the right thing to do. And the main important thing is that the sustenance after this is the most important thing. And I was listening to your presentation that Performance Alliance, I think you are having one more product wherein we will be able to really tie up with you to see that the things whichever we have achieved till now will be able to really sustain it for the coming generations or whatever years to come. So 2030 is the ultimate goal which we have right now. So that is all from my side as a part of a strategic approach, how we have really adopted this IGBC Green Building certification across locations. Maybe I will hand it over to Rajesh for further explanation and details on how, on a micro level, how we have really gone ahead by achieving this particular certification. Over to you, Rajesh.
Shall I give the presentation
Yes.
right to Mr. Rajesh?
Yeah, please.
Please.
Yeah.
I think the sharing.
Now you can share the screen.
Now, yeah, now it's coming. Yes. Right. So I hope you all can see my screen now.
Yeah.
Right. So good afternoon again to everyone, and again thank you very much, entire IGBC team, for giving us the platform to showcase our the green initiative. In fact, and really, this is one of the platform really where all the industrial friends can understand some of the best practices across other industries, and they can also horizontally deploy the same in their premises. In fact, so I'll be just in continuation with what Vimal sir presented. I'll be just sharing some of the best practices in our plant, what we adopted, in fact, and where, of course, the IGBC supported us throughout the process. In fact, in our sustainability journey, I must appreciate the IGBC's contribution, in fact. And with that, slightly, I'll give the background. Like as Vimal sir told, that we have a ESG framework, right? We have a clear ESG framework for ABB India. In fact, this has been derived from the global SDG goals, as well as the BRSR and our national ESG requirements. And this 10-point agenda already he has discussed earlier. Now the point was like how to take it forward. Because we have lots of activities going on every day. We work on water, energy, waste, and then how to standardize the activity. And there the IGBC's framework really supported us. In fact, like where we wanted to standardize our entire process, our entire activities, and we also wanted to understand where do we stand. In fact, right? So when we see that our three-step approach, where the first phase talks about the IGBC green factory building, you can say adoption, or you can the certification part, where we have taken up the activity on site efficiency, innovation and design, water conservation, indoor health environment, and of course overall the improvement in the quality, environment quality, and the energy and material. In fact, and this step, in fact, we had a 4 different steps where we had a gap identification across all the factories, and then we wanted to understand what exactly the requirement where we can improve, and then finally we submitted the application, of course, and the certification was the next thing. And of course, phase 2, as Vimal sir told, we are focusing on the net zero, where CO2, water, and waste would be our target to minimize as much as possible and create a positive impact in our environment. So this entire journey on the first phase, where we talk about the green factory building, in fact, we have a 6 location which was taken in the scope for the IGBC certification, and where we can see like our 6 different plants belongs to Karnataka. Then we have in Vadodara, Faridabad, and Nashik, in fact. And the kind of focus area, as we told, that IGBC has at 6 different focus points where we can have a detailed activities and enhance our overall green initiatives here. So this entire journey, in fact, we had a stepwise approach where first phase was on the awareness building. As we all know that kind of adopting a new system or standard, it's always a challenging for every company, in fact, like where every employee has to understand at least the sub leader or the leader level. So of course we started the entire awareness session for all the leaders and sub leaders. We developed lots of leaders across all the factories, in fact. And we also had a gap identification in the first phase, which was of course somewhere around 2020, and then we started the improvement activities from that time. And now if you see, we are almost at the final assessments level, where almost our you can say 5 of the location would be certified very soon, in fact. So that's the overall the schedule what we had for the activity. Yeah, now we'll come to the main area, that what all things we did and what all the initiative we took to improve our the kind of ESG performance, or mainly on the IGBC rating system. So the first part, as all we know, in fact, Dr. Dhaka also mentioned that we have a several activities, in fact, in site efficiency. In fact, some of the best practices we all have seen now. But in our premises, in fact, like we of course focused on the natural topography, where more than 30% of the green belt we maintained in all the locations, in fact. And more than that, like we also had a very systematic approach for plantation, so that less grass area and more you can say the plantation can be put. Besides that, we also had our activity on the EV charging station provision. As we saw in previous slide also, Mr. Vimal mentioned all about the EV 100, right? So the EV 100 is nothing but, now, as we all know, that we want to convert our all the electrical vehicles, of course, our ABB owned vehicle or the leased vehicle, to the electrical part, right? So for that, in fact, we've started this provision of electrical charging points across all the units, in fact. And of course it's based on the IGBC's requirement also, and parallelly it is meeting our EV 100 commitment what we have taken. So this is one of the glance we can see, like we have our charging stations, which is our own product, in fact, ABB own products across all the units. Besides that, on the heat island effect, in fact, we all know that, like, either it can be SRA paint, or we can also provide somewhere solar panels, where of course it would be having a overall good impact on the heat island effect. So we have of course gone for the SRI paint for some of the locations wherever we have not done the solar panels installation and all. These are some of the picture of our Nelmangala as well as Peenya, Bangalore units. Very similarly, we are also having this activity across Faridabad, your Vadodara and Nashik units. So these are some of the activities what we did in our site efficiency. Similar way, like in water conservation, in fact, we had a very unique technology, in fact, like where we took support of cross wave technology, in fact, we call it. And this has a very unique property where the recharge, as well as the percolation through the system, as well as the boring, the borewell, it goes through the 2 different actually routes. So we had a very good amount of recharge, or you can say the rainwater harvesting through this particular technology. And besides that, wherever it's possible, we have also provided the open ponds, where of course which can be used for the other domestic purposes, in fact. And for the water recycling and reduction, in fact, we have of course, in line with the IGBC requirement, low flow fixtures, sensors and all we have put in place. And really, in one of our factories, in fact, we reduce our per capita water consumption almost close to 40 to 45%, and that's all all because of the, of course, the adoption of the standard and some of the initiative what we took in our plants. Besides that, we also had a good activity on the water treatment as well as recycling the water for our domestic purpose. In fact, we have a quite efficient water system and treatment system, in fact, and the water is being used for the flushing as well as our gardening purpose in all the locations. And smart irrigation, another area where really we had a good amount of activity to reduce our water consumption. So this is another aspect of activity what we did for water. Now, coming to energy, in fact, we had multiple, round of discussions at how to go about, like what area we should go for the in-house solar, which all area we should, go for the third-party PPAs and all. So because we have lots of, options in the market. So currently, in fact, like some of the locations we have uh, you can say the solar panel installed within our premises, and some of the area we are procuring from the third party. In fact, like through third-party PPAs. And Nashik, in fact, we have also gone for the OPEX model of solar, where third party comes and installs the overall solar panels in your premises. Besides that, we also had an activity on the fuel, where PNG fuel we are using for the generators, like where the conventional fuels, the diesel and all are being used for the of course the DGs and all. Now we are moving towards the PNG, which is of course we're reducing our GHG emissions, and of course it's moving towards the more greener power utilization in our premises. Besides that, we also had some of the activity on the smart energy management system. In fact, ABB own product, we have a BMS, the building management system, where we have a better control of all the equipments, where the energy productivity of the equipment also can be enhanced, and must say like close to 30 to 40% of the energy reduction we could able to achieve through this particular BMS system also. Besides that, we also had some of the other activities like 100% LED lighting. These are quite basic activities. However, we ensured that all the LEDs, all the kind of lighting system has to be replaced with our LED system. And of course, with the VFD support also, we enhanced the energy performance of our HVAC and other air handling units. So these are some of the glimpses of our energy conservation. Now, if you see our material and indoor environment quality, like we had a very good example on the material recycling part, like where maximum amount of materials we have tried to reuse or recycle within our one of the corporate, main corporate office we have at the Disha building. And this is like where maximum our old office furnitures and some of the, you can say, the materials which is used for the construction and all, where of course the recycling one. So very proud to say, like very environment friendly the corporate office we built actually recently, and that also contributed for our material conservation, of course, which is in line with our IGBC requirement too. And besides that, we also had a very strong waste management system, where we have a very clear segregation, the storage as well as disposal, in our premises, of course, which of course support us in terms of waste reduction and somewhere reuse or recycling of the waste in our premises. Besides that, some of the other green initiative we can see is like we have a natural daylighting in one of our, in fact, 2 to 3, in fact, units of our ABB, where the natural daylight is being used for our ABB building as well as our shop floors. Besides that, we have a green certified chemicals now, kind of, it's mandatory, of course, now as per IGBC also. So we have changed our earlier whatever the chemicals we were using for facility to now 100% green certified only. And parallel, in fact, the other initiatives, like even though they are not at all relevant to much on the ESG, mainly on the environment, of course, ESG social part, it's quite of course relevant too, but the environmental part, it's not that much relevant, where the gym or breakout space are concerned. But thing is, somehow it's indirectly contributes to our managing our overall premises in a better way. In fact, when we provide a good breakout space or the other facility to employees, so they will be also be motivated to in fact contribute for the green initiative. So these are some of the good practices what we had in this area. Some of the innovations what like we also tried, like as I told earlier, the cross wave technology. In fact, generally the rainwater harvesting, there is no mandatory as such that we need to have a 100% capturing of water for all the for entire premises, like. So we, in fact, we tried actually to the to the next level of the requirement, where the 100% of the water we tried to capture, in fact, in fact 3 of our units, where we have put this crosswave technology. In fact, 4th and 5th will be having this installation maybe by next year. So this particular crosswave has also provided with the water flow meter. In fact, very rarely you will be finding some energy water flow meter for the recharge system. In fact, like generally we see for the reuse and other purposes, but not for the recharge purpose, right? So for the recharge also, we have now tried to capture the data, because what we see, we believe, like what we can really monitor, we should report also, right? So we started now monitoring the recharge too, instead of just reuse, and that is going to give us in fact a good amount of data to understand our system efficiency, and of course we can further work on enhancing it further more actually. And besides that, we also, as I told, like our ABB own BMS system, which has really contributed us for the energy reduction in our premises. That was another unique thing what we observed during this entire journey, in fact. And we have 300 also, where the renewable energy 100% we have to utilize to, of course, eliminate our scope 2 emissions also. So this area also, in fact, like one of our unit last year, they were RE100 overall, and of course we are continuing this journey this year onwards again to, of course, by end of this 2022 will achieve our RE100 goal also in our all the locations. And besides that, some of the other initiative like single-use plastic-free premises. So of course, CII IGBC, also understood our activity on the single-use plastic elimination, like where lots of activities were done to eliminate some of the single-use plastic, of course, which are not bound under the compliances, and we could able to, in fact, reduce close to 2 ton of overall single-use plastic also in our premises. In fact, this one of the certification we got for one of our unit, in fact, where we can see that we have a kind of good amount of reduction activity and parallelly elimination of some of the waste, we can say the single use plastic waste. Besides that, of course, some of the green initiative like the plantation and all are quite well maintained in our premises, and considered one of the innovation in this project, in fact. So 2020 and 21, in fact, if you see, it was a very dynamic, like quite active year for ABB India. In fact, within 1 to 2 years, we got three of our units certified. One our unit was, of course, platinum, and we are quite proud, like being in factory, like we are trying to adopt the IGBC standard and trying to go beyond the requirement also, where of course we can achieve our net zero, which is the next target what we have. So these are some of the three, in fact, the units what we have: ABB, Nelmangla, Peenya, and in fact Maharashtra, Nashik, one of the unit got certified in this last 1 to 2 years. And in fact, like Nelmangla, I think we are the first engineering company which got certified on the platinum part also in this green factory building rating, in fact. So these are some of the glimpses of our kind of the good initiative or the recognition what we had. And some of the benefit I will just quickly, I'll just share with you all. Like Nelmangla also, if you see the overall benefit what we got was, of course, we had a good amount of energy saving, in fact, where our platinum certified this particular plant is. And we also could able to offset our all the you can say the CO2 emission of the carbon scope 2, in fact, through the green power. And mainly 100% of the non-process load was from the green power only. And we could also enhance our water recyclability. You can see almost close to 85% of the water recyclability we have achieved in our ABB Nelmangla unit. And we can see some of the other practices like the 80% of shop floor area is having the daylight through the skylights and all. So these are some of the activity which has also given a good amount of we can say the benefits to ABB India, where of course our people also would be motivated to take it further to the next level of net zero. Similarly, for Peenya also, we had a good amount of energy saving through these particular activities. And we could also see some of the rainwater harvesting project what I showed, like almost 100% of the rainwater is being captured within the premises. We have provided a very detailed design based this you can say crosswave technology, in fact, here, and which has really given a good result of capturing the entire rainwater either for the reuse or the recharge system, in fact. And if you see, coming to the Nashik plant, in fact, we also had a good amount of you can say the reduction in our lighting power density. In fact, we had in the green power also now 100% of the non-process load is being taken from the, in fact, the green power only, the which is in fact solar based OPEX model, we have within our premises, in fact. And we also achieved the 100% water recyclability within our premises, and good amount of, in fact, like same energy, water, and the waste management activity we could able to drive here. Now coming to the next, where of course the net zero is concerned, where of course all the companies are looking at, like we all want the environmental impact to be zero or the positive, in fact. So in terms of, in fact, like we have a net zero activity uh, uh, just a few months back only, with help of course IGBC. We started this rainwater harvesting, and we finally achieved the net you can say the positive certification also for this Nelmangla unit, in fact, where of course our 6R approach what we adopted, where rainwater recharge, the reduction, the rainwater usage, the treated wastewater, and the real-time monitoring of the water, along with the reassurance with the this 6R approach, really it has given a good benefit to us. Through that we could able to achieve the water positivity at least one of our location this year, in fact 2021. So as already we have seen in the past, like, so you can see in this 1 to 2 years we have got 3 of our units certified on the green factory building. One factory got certified on the water positive, in fact. And of course now this year we'll be eliminating our entire scope 2 emission zero with our RE100 project and all. And of course we have a good amount of zero waste to landfill related activity also going on, and very soon we'll be taking support from IGBC team also, in terms of at least understanding how to go about on net zero, which is of course again the kind of target for all the corporates nowadays, right? But these all are the activities, benefits, and all we have shown. But what about the sustenance? Like, what are the challenges that we need to again address, so that we should not downgrade? We should really always upgrade from the standard what we have achieved, in fact, right? So the challenges what we could see, in fact, in this entire 1 to 2 years of journey, like, we still have like lack of clarity among the many employees. Like, still they are not understanding like what is this IGBC is all about, how to contribute. And also you can say that even the participation was also quite lesser, in fact, because of that. And the next level of thing is like, what is the best available kind of option we should adopt, so that we can of course achieve the IGBC requirement along with other net zero related activities, right? So those things were our, of course, like lots of options you get in market, like you can do this or that or something else also to achieve the same goal. But what would be the best options to adopt, in fact, right? So for that, some of the initiatives we took recently, in fact last 1 to 2 months, where we also started, in fact, our top management, in fact, is really quite active to support us in terms of communications, in terms of making the top leaders understand the entire requirement of our sustainability goals, and how the IGBC or the net zero related activity we can drive. And so communication what we started, in fact, recently, in fact, with the comms teams and all. And besides that, we also had a third party engagement. Some of the experts in the industry, in fact, like in the market, in fact, we have a in fact, Godrej also is one of the partner during this entire journey, which has really supported us. Then we had a IGBC team, we have a CI, different other teams, and then Terry and so many other experts we tried to take support, so that at least we'll find the best options which can be adopted and realize our goals. So that's one other thing. And of course we started lots of periodic audits and all, so that our sustenance of the activity and the next level of activity can be also be realized. So these are some of the 4-step approach what we started: awareness enhancement, strengthening of data and reporting system, periodic site audit, in fact, we started recently, and of course third party assurance. After that only we can release any data or any claims in the market. So this all the 4 activities what we started recently, after all these 3 units got certified in just a few months back. And that's the way, in fact, we are going to sustain our entire this journey of sustainability, in fact. Yeah. So this all from my side. In fact, these are some of the future goals what we have down the line 1 to 2 years, where of course we'll be realizing all this sustainable you can say the targets and all we have. So this all from my side. Thank you very much. And over to you, Mr. Himanshu, please.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. Thank you for your enlightening presentation. Congratulations to both the speakers. You are part of a very elite team at ABB, and we thank you and your company for taking such such beautiful initiatives like making furniture from sustainable materials, having employee breakout spaces. The most impressive is the 85% of water recyclability at Neelamangala and 100% of rainwater recharge at Pina. I think the next most shortest, the most scarce commodity would be drinkable water. And ABB is doing a great job by taking care of that. There is a question for you, and I think we can take up the questions after the presentations are over. Meanwhile, you can refer in the chat box if there are any more questions addressed to you.
Thank you, Shreyaji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajeshji, and thank you, Vimalji.
Thank you.
I'm pleased to introduce Miss Shweta. Shweta ji is the Executive Production Good and Green at Godrej Industries Limited. She's responsible for Greenco certification gap analysis and execution, also gap analysis for cost-saving models in different pillars of her company. Operation and troubleshooting of plasma gasification plant within various wastes available is her forte. Also, she calculates processes and energy efficient equipment for feasibility evaluation at Godrej. Welcome, Shweta ji, and I request you to please start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Could you just give me the authority for sharing? Yeah.
It's been given.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Visible. So, hi, good afternoon and good evening to everybody, to all the panelists, all the speakers here, and all the attendees who are attending this session. So I'll be representing Godrej Industries Chemicals Division. I'll not be taking much of your time, but will be just dwelling into what Godrej Group is all about. We are 125 years young company, largely and privately owned by the Godrej families themselves. And over 500 million people in India use one or the other product from Godrej. You can see various types of products you are using in your household every day. And we are basically divided into 5 major sectors: the Godrej Boyos, Godrej Industries Limited, Consumer Products, Godrej Agrovites, and the Properties. So we are speaking basically about the Godrej Industries Limited Chemicals Group, and that to the Valia unit plant. So this is our first sustainability vision from FY11 to FY21. For the full decade, we had taken the sustainability goals beginning in the FY11 only. So these we had developed our goals keeping into mind the EP100 target, the SBTi value quality targets, and we had 3 major sectors to indulge in. That was ensuring employability, greener India, and the product innovation. So our major target was to train 1 million youth and skills that will enhance their earning potential. The greener India engaging into zero waste to landfill from our industries. We wanted to become carbon neutral, water positive, and also reduce our specific energy consumption by 30% and increase our renewable energy portfolio by 30%. These were our major targets. And also we are into product innovation, and we wanted to generate 1/3 of our product portfolios from the good and the green products. So this, what does this good and green mean? We will see in the succeeding slides. So speaking about 10 years towards sustainability of the Godrej Industries, this is a very big journey that we have seen together. So we started in 2011, and in 2015 we got silver rated by the CII Greenco team. Then in 2018 we backed the gold rating, and then in 2022 very recently we are upgraded to platinum rating. And also to mention, we are the first chemical manufacturing company in the country to achieve this platinum rating. So what is the status of our industry today, as on today in 2021? So these are the sustainability goals. Major 5 goals we already had, but being with the Greenco, Greenco rating system, we added 2-3 more pillars into our systems, and now we have a very good target value system and a rating system in order to rate ourselves and to see a improvement process also. So about specific water consumption, we have reduced it by 30%. Carbon neutrality in scope 1 and 2, we have reduced it by 46%. Specific energy consumption, we have reduced it to 26%. All these values are with the baseline financial year 11. And specific waste to landfill, we have reduced it to 96%. Renewable energy, we have increased the renewable energy portfolio by 48%. Then we also have very good projects in material conservation and recycling, green supply chain innovation and safety. So in specific energy consumption, how did we come to this 30% value and how did we reduce our specific energy consumption? These are some of the basic ideas that we have already implemented inside the factory and which you guys can also think about it. So first, starting with the energy efficient equipments, we have replaced all the poor energy taking blowers and the equipments by a higher energy value. Then we replaced all the poor energy efficient motors. They all were replaced by i3 and i4 motors. Then we replaced all the motors and installed the VFDs. This was a first step. Then later on, we went into energy efficient lighting. We replaced all the HPMV and HPSV lights with the LEDs. Then we did heat integration. That is, we identified all the possible locations where heat recovery could be done. And this was one of the very novel heat exchangers that we have installed at the site. This is the gas-to-gas heat exchanger. And as we all know, the heat transfer coefficient in gas is very low. So this was a very novel heat exchanger. And we concluded this project after, I think, 4 or 5 years. It took a lot of effort, but then we went into saving a lot of money also. And basically, we reduced our energy consumptions due to these energy efficient and heat integration processes. Then further on, we evaluated energy efficient walls. Then we optimized the usage of the chilling systems here. We found the COP value and then we recorrected all those. Then we went into efficient chillers. And then we also have the ENMS system, that is centralized energy monitoring system, which allows us to take the daily value. And it is an automatic generated report wherein we get the values constantly and it is an instantaneous value. And speaking about the renewable energy portfolio, we have increased our renewable energy portfolio by 48% in the financial year 21, starting with financial year 11, where we were 1.35% only. So all this we have increased by the succeeding years. So for a renewable energy portfolio, what we did is we went into installation of the briquette boilers. So these briquette boilers are responsible for giving us thermal energy. And also we have it for thermic fluid heating, steam generation also. All these contributes to about 47% in the renewable energy portfolio at our factory. We also have installed solar panels of the capacity 317 kilowatt peak, and it contributes around 1% of the renewable energy portfolio. So this you can see that this is the energy consumption that we had in the earlier years, that is 439 and 451 terajoules. And then we replaced all these energy consumptions by the biomass, that is the briquette boilers. And now we have the briquette energy going on a much higher scale than the NG, that is a fossil fuel. Now, very recently, we are into commissioning of the cogeneration plant. This will give rise to 95% of the grid energy will be converted into green, and it will see 11% increase in our renewable energy portfolio. So about we extract actually 98% of the electricity from the grid, but on a safer side, we say that it is 95%, so it will be green. And speaking about the greenhouse gas emissions, so greenhouse gas emissions and energy efficiency are very much directly proportional. So keeping in the mind commitment to EP100, SBTi targets and the ENCON projects, we directly contribute to the GHG gas emission reductions. Then we have also worked upon the scope 1 emissions, that is reduction in the NG, reduction in diesels and substituting it with biomass. We have also went into diesel operated forklift. We are substituting it with battery operated forklifts also in order to reduce our scope 1 emissions. For the scope 2 emissions, we work in constant reduction in power consumption, energy efficient equipments, energy evaluation. And now that we are going to commission cogeneration plant, the scope 2 emissions will drastically come down. So we also have two very beautiful examples. That is the heat pipe technology, wherein the flue gas is responsible for heating the air which goes inside the burner. So this gives rise into reduction in the energy consumption inside the burner. So due to this, the overall GHG gas emission is also less and the energy efficiency is also less. Energy consumption is also less. Then we also have this modular burner, wherein we have a modulated burner. The energy consumption in that burner is low because of this technology. Then in the supply chain, we are doing a detailed study of the scope 3 emissions, and the action plan is still in progress, but we are into greening the supply chain. Then we also have the process improvement projects like optimization of the chilling operations. Then we also eliminated the natural gas compressor in one of our plant, wherein we used to procure natural gas at 6 bar, and now we have replaced it with 35 bar. So there is a direct impact of the power saving, and we have completely eliminated the natural gas compressor. Then moving forward to the specific water consumption, we have reduced about 33% of the specific water consumption in financial year FY21 H1. So speaking about how did we do it? So specific water consumption, we drastically reduced it by complete condensate recovery, cooling tower revamping. Then we went into watering, vacuum pump, recycle water. The water, whichever water is available, we are recycling it and putting it in loop so that we can use it again. Then also we have water from the carbon bleacher or any system which is from where the water is available and it can be reused without treating it again, we reuse it. Sorry. Then we also have steam consumption reduction projects inside the factory. We also have rainwater harvesting inside the fence and also beyond the fence. Then we have PPPU, that is the power package pumps, which are used specifically for the condensate recovery and send it to boilers. So this we have installed about 2 to 3 PPPU pumps are installed. Then we also have ME plant, which is responsible for converting all the RO reject water into salt so that we become a zero liquid discharge factory. Then we also have replaced our normal conventional vacuum systems with the water jet vacuum systems so that the steam consumption is drastically low in this water jet vacuum systems. We've also installed RO3 and RO4 reverse osmosis RO technologies, which gives rise and which is responsible for purifying the water up to such a level that we can directly use it in the process. That is the partial DM water. Then we also have increased our recycled water drastically. So all these activities cumulatively give rise to 30 to 33% of reduction in the specific water consumption. Some of the major ideas or projects that we can see is whatever pumps that we use inside the plant, whatever water we use to cool it, we have replaced it with glycerine closed loop cooling so that whatever water is inlet, it has to go outlet, but it will not go to ATP. In this glycerine closed loop, the glycerine will keep flowing inside the loop itself. So these are some of the smaller projects which gives rise to a larger quantity of the water when we go on a large scale. Then this is the PPPU pump, which is used specifically for the condensate water to get pumped by its own pressure, and we do not need any kind of electricity in order to operate this pump. Then we also have water saving fixtures installed at various locations, and this is basically to reduce the non-plant water consumptions. Then we have waste reduction. So yeah, we are zero liquid discharge plant, and then we also have installed RO plant and multiple effect evaporators in loop after the effluent water treatment. Then we very recently we are 5S certified by the Quality Circle Forum of India and also by Union of Japanese Scientists and Engineers in 2021. So this is such a platform wherein you get to this was actually a 5S journey. So 5S, as everybody knows, in 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S. So this has taught us and led our company into more thinking about innovation, Kaizen development trainings, and whatever you can see, all these smaller projects are developed by our own factory people, the operator down the line people, they have developed it. This has also led to a saving of material. This has drastically led to savings of material, raw virgin material, which we otherwise would have purchased and made such structures. So this has also contributed in waste reduction. Another waste reduction beautiful project that we have is the polyhouse for sludge drying. This is actually polyethylene that we use for the sludge drying technique, wherein we higher solar power, higher solar energy is concentrated inside this polyhouse, and then the sludge is dried. So this basically reduces the moisture of the sludge, and the weight also drastically reduces. When speaking about the innovation pillar, this is one of the example that I have put here, which has happened inside the factory, but otherwise there are a number of innovation projects that are going on. So this is a process development, process intensified project, wherein we have eliminated the usage of chiller inside in one of the process. Why this happened is we wanted to attain for 50 to 60 mbar of vacuum inside this condenser. But then we realized that simple cooling water can also achieve this kind of pressure, this kind of vacuum. So then we replaced all the chilled water with the cooling water, and then we achieved the same vacuum. And this led to the elimination of the energy intensive chiller in that particular process. Then design for environment, all of our products are vegetable oil origin. And this is a main GEM strategy, wherein G stands for the good and green. That is, it should be as green as possible, good for consumers and good for environment. It should be economical and efficient. It should use less. Less use could made it cheaper and still milder and better. And M stands for milder for consumers, multifunctional application areas, and replacing multiple components in an application. So this is a basic GEM strategy which we apply for all of our new products that we develop inside the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta ji. It was a very informative talk. We really liked all the initiatives, special to mention the waste water and the wastage treatment initiatives, also the GEM strategy done by your company. And we congratulate you and your company for all the nice awards which are in place. Himanshu ji, can we take the question and answer before the
Yeah, we can go ahead with the question answer.
Okay, so there are 2 or 3 questions. The question to Rajesh ji is from Aditya. Rajesh ji, what was the impact and change seen during pandemic time? The details can be read in the chat box. And I think Shweta ji, there are 2 more questions for you. Any project on RO reject water to reuse done by your company? If at all, if the answer is yes, please let us know what it is. And the second question to you is the multiple effect evaporator capex cost is how much? Speakers, you can address them one by one. Rajesh, if you could begin, please.
Yeah, shall I take?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you. There was no impact because ABB was serving to the essential, because we fall under some essential services, because we cater with motors, then automation solutions to different oil and gas industries, and also to hospitals and other. So it was an opportunity for us to really see that whatever systems or requirements we have really placed were checked, doubly checked in fact. So as such, there was no impact of pandemic on us, and because all the factories wherever we are operating were working with the prescribed limit by the government. So as such, there was no impact on us as a part of pandemic.
In fact, we, as Vimarsal told, we utilized this time to, in fact, do some good kaizens, like, good some improvements and all. And I think the IGBC, the overall activity also, I feel we got a boost up actually that time, because we could really divert our manpower even for that purpose also. Because as you know, that time, because of pandemic, little bit things were slower, like even though we were running, but we could really able to utilize the time to, of course, expedite our activity in the greener aspect actually. and lots of initiatives. In fact, we could not able to show you all today, but those initiatives, you won't believe it was taken during this 1 to 2 years. That was the good part. In fact, we encashed the pandemic situation, and really we used it quite well actually in ABB. Uh,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, so I hope I have addressed the query.
Yes, Rajesh. Thank you.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Aditya
Shweta
ji,
ji, over to you.
requested to respond if it still remains unanswered. Yes, Vimal ji, would you like to add something?
No, I have already told. That's what, see, we did not have any as such effect because it was an opportunity out of adversity for us, and we took it to enhance all our whatever we have put in place, and it was a good time for us. But yes, no impact as such because all our factories were working with minimal manpower. Yeah.
Thank you. Shweta ji, would you like to answer?
Yeah. Which question do I have to answer? I could see just multiple effect evaporator capex cost and any project on RO reject water to reuse, right?
Yes, and I think there is one more. What is the need for multiple effect evaporator implementation at your unit?
Okay.
All the three are asked by Ms. Rashmi.
Okay, so multiple effect evaporator usage. So we are a chemicals division and we we produce a lot of chemicals, say for example, surfactants portfolio, and we generate obviously a lot of wastewater. In order to treat that wastewater, we have an effluent treatment plant with us, and that effluent treated water goes to the reverse osmosis process. This reverse osmosis process gives us reject, and that reject water is sent to multiple effect evaporator. So this multiple effect evaporator is basically turning the high TDS water into salt, and that salt is can be seen as a waste, basically. So that is the basic use of the multiple effect evaporator. Then another question we have is any project on RO reject water to reuse. So RO reject water cannot be reused because it has a lot of TDS, say for example 1 to 2 lakh ppm. But RO permeate water can be used, and that we are using in the PDM and the DM water, that is partial DM water and the demineralized water.
Any idea on the cost, capex cost? That is what Ms. Rashmi also wants to know.
Yeah, see, multiple effect evaporator, we had installed it around say for example, 4 to 5 years back. So now the costs have definitely definitely changed, so that we can share on off note. Yeah.
Okay. I think Shivraj ji, there is one question for you. What are the different aspects of Greenco, and how can Greenco certification help in aligning the industry in sustainability? Shivraj ji, if you are here.
Yes. So primarily, whenever we want to address the changes in the process energy use or any of the machining items which are consuming a lot of energy, and if we find some opportunity to introduce energy efficiency measures in that, then I believe Greenco is the best rating tool to address, because it would consider process energy applications. It will also have the supply chain engagement in that. Any of the company procuring and then finally dispatching the items, it will have the supply chain logistic considered into the certification program. So there are multiple benefits with that. They start from procurement to the dispatch, and in between the process energy use, whether it is only energy or could be water application also. So there, Greenco makes sense to adapt it and demonstrate the excellence.
Saurabh ji, I hope this answers your query. And there is one question to the host. Himanshu ji, architect Sri Rupa is asking, can we get a content copy of the meeting today? I think she means the content of the presentations, if I'm not wrong, Sri Rupa ji. Himanshu ji, you can answer this in your chat box if you find it relevant as a question. Himanshu ji, are you here?
Sorry, Shreya. What you were telling?
There is a question from architect Sri Rupa ji that can the content copy of the meeting be shared?
Yeah, we'll be sharing the recording shortly.
Yes, and I guess it is available on YouTube also.
Yes, yes, it is also available on YouTube, and we'll be sharing the link in the chat box also.
So, Shri Rupaji and all the attendees here today, the contents of the OCA speakers would be available in the chat box link. In the link which Himanshuji is going to share in the chat box and also on YouTube. And you're requested to refer them and connect with the speakers one-on-one if you have more questions on this. I request Neetuji, who is the co-chair of IGBC Baroda chapter, to conclude the session. May I please introduce Neetuji before she delivers her ending note. Neetuji is an able entrepreneur. She started her journey with minimal resources, and from one single product, she has now a range of products for the complete building envelope. She has a vision to contribute to climate change and create awareness. She is a managing director at Panache Green Tech Solutions Private Limited. She deals in her company deals in manufacture, marketing, and distribution of innovative products, especially the reflective coatings, insulated coatings, and water protecting products. And she also claims and heads a foundation to create cool, green, sustainable cities. Neetuji, I request you to deliver your thank you note, please.
Good evening. It has been a great initiation of IGBC. So what I could understand is and I would like to actually convey this green practices, whether it is in a building, whether it is in a factory, it is a way of life now. The way you work, the way you think, exactly that reflects in work, what you do. So listening to all the key speakers and the industry stakeholders on this platform has been an amazing experience. And I'm very thankful to Mr. Vimal Sharma, Mr. Rajesh Jha, Ms. Shweta for the enhanced enlightenment that they have given us what they are doing at their premises and at their company and for the society and for this planet. And I'm very thankful to Shivrajji also for giving us a brief intro of like what exactly we can do in a green industry. But nevertheless, this is just a glimpse, friends. There is a lot that we can learn and we can implement in our practices, whether it is in any building or whether it is any industry. And I humbly thank each and everyone who has contributed to this session as a speaker and also as an attendee to make this program a success. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, Shriyaji. Thanks a lot, Vimalji, Rajeshji, Bhaveshji, and Shwetaji. Himanshu, thanks a lot for initiating this program. And Shivraji, thanks a lot. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. With this closing note, we end the session.
Thank you, Shreyaji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye. And have a great day.
Thank you, Vimalji.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Vimalji. Thank you, Rajeshji.
Thank you, Himanshuji. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Shwetaji.